This video is for Lorry Van Services and is brought to you from the delights of the shipping office, which is basically upstairs in the house. I have now become a shipper. You know, over the last, I haven't driven a lorry now for 2 weeks. And it's looking like, I did say that I'd fill in for the guys when they go on holiday, but it's kind of looking like, Al says, I believe that when you find someone and you put them in the right spot, keep them there. And it turns out I'm kind of good at this. I say that, I'm not, I'm useless. But because I still think like a lorry driver, I don't think like a shipper, because so I go, when I pick that job and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, we're getting off point. And there's been videos that I haven't done, just because I haven't got round to them. But to be honest with you, now that I'm in the office, I've got a little bit more of a background. And Larry Van Services asked me the question. And he said, why is it that shippers send in a van which is inappropriate? So, for example, they send in a 7.5 tonne when they're looking for an 18 tonne. And like I say, I've done this for 2 weeks. So you can take everything I say with a pinch of salt, and bear in mind that everything I say is either wrong or at least largely erroneous. But in my limited experience of being in the office, it's not the shipper's fault. It's happened to me once already where for one of our customers, I went in, I saw it. I actually saw the load. And the guy, because he's up the yard, like, you know, he's not far from me. And he said, it's just these bits, 4 bits that are 3 metres long and 2 cabinets. I said, what do you need then? He said, well, you know, I'm sure we'll be all right with a long wheelbase. And I'm thinking, yeah, 3 metres, that's fine. That'll all go in a long wheelbase. That's absolutely fine. So the quotes come in. And when the quotes come in on the old the CX platform here, which I'll be showing you more about as I learn how it works, it comes up with the quotes and the size of the vehicle. And there was one for like 100, let's say 130 long wheelbase, and then there was one for like 150 Luton. And I thought, well, for the extra 20 quid, I could always send him in a Luton and, you know, have a little bit more space. But I thought, no, let's be keen for the customer. We want to invoice them as little as possible. We want to keep doing a good job. We want to look after them, save their money. So I sent in a long wheelbase. Driver rings me up and he goes, they've got a bit that's 4 metres. He said, but don't worry, we're on it. And as it turned out, they did have a bit that was 4 metres, but they never told me that. When I went round and looked at it, they never showed me it, probably because they forgot. And then the van turns up, and he's like, we've got to put these bits, oh, we've got that bit as well. Oh, hang on, that's 4 metres. Oh, no. Now, in fairness, again, it would have been the driver, it would have been the customer's fault. And if they'd have rung me, I would have gone, okay, guys, we'll get on what you can, and then we'll get the next one on the next van type thing. As it was, the guy had a bulkhead, they got it on an angle, the driver was very, very helpful, they were very, very pleased, they got it down for the right price, and I gave the driver very good feedback. So, in this particular instance, everything was fine. We had another one recently where I sent a truck in, tiny job, Luton to Luton. It was alcohol, and they'd booked an 18-tonne truck. And he turned up, and he went, Peter, he said, I got the phone call, he said, Peter, I'm going to send you a picture, this ain't going on. For a start, they've got 18 pallets, and each one of these pallets is like 1.5 metres high, stacked full of drinks, not necessarily alcohol, drinks. He said, I reckon each one of these pallets must weigh 1.5 tonnes. And fair play to him, he said, if we'd have gone on, we basically, so I've rung, so what do you do in this situation? I rung the shipper and explained the situation. And he said, if I had £1, he said, once a month at least, I get somebody who asks for an 18-tonne truck thinking it can carry 18 tonnes. And back in the day, I had it. When I was in Alice, I pulled into a distribution centre in Milton Keynes. They started loading me. I walked out as they were putting them on and looked at the springs go, woo! It was like a skyrocket. And I went back in and I went, how heavy are these machines? And they went, oh, about 1 tonne each. No, he said, I forget how much it was, like 2.5 tonne each. How many are you putting on? He kind of went, 5. I went, no. No, actually, I'll tell a lie, they were about 1 tonne each. Yeah, how many are you putting on? Oh, 7. I went, no, you're not. I can carry 2. I can carry 2.5 tonne. And she thought, the lady who booked it, thought a 7.5 tonne truck could carry 7.5 tonnes. So, what do you do in these situations? So I rung up the guy, and I said, look, we'll do our best we can here. If we could possibly do it in 2 runs. As it was, The loading bay didn't have a ramp, it was concrete, it couldn't go on a loading bay, the tail lift wouldn't lift the pallets, and in the end we said, look, we're pulling him out, and I got a cancellation fee. So the answer to the question is, why do shippers send you in for a job that's wrong? And you kind of, when you think you're a driver, you think, well, what they're trying to do is they're trying to save themselves a bit of money here. It's not the case. What tends to be the case is, as shippers, we're given the wrong information to customers. So what to do in a situation if you're a driver? Keep cool. Keep calm. Ring them up and say, I think we've got a problem here. I think your customer has sent in the wrong van. Because, and tell them the situation. This is what they've got. This is the van I've booked. And then they'll turn around to you and go, okay, I'll get back to the customer. And they'll go, well, can you take some of it? Or, okay, what's your cancellation fee? I'm going to have to send in another van. Or what have you. You will occasionally, again, which has happened to me, is if the shipper's trying to save himself a bit of money and if he can't get the cancellation fee off of his customer, he might turn around and say it's your fault. I've had it before where I was told in an 18 tonne, faults on and faults off at both sides, and they booked me. I got there was no faults at the second bit, and I couldn't get into the 18 tonne, couldn't get in, and he said, well, it was a 7.5 tonne job, you should have said you were a 7.5 tonne job. I tell you now, guys, when the quotes come through on the CX, you can see the size of the vehicle. It will say £130 long wheelbase, £150 Luton, £80 car. So if they book you and you turn up, but then in fairness, if you are in a car and you do quote in a lorry job, they will turn around and go, what are you playing at? But if you are in sort of like a short wheelbase, and it says like, medium wheelbase, the only thing you can do is when it comes through, you just ring them up, so just double checking. You know I'm a medium wheelbase. That's okay. I'm a short wheelbase. That's okay. Because once they've said yes, you get there and it's not right, you can ring them back and say, well, I told you before the job through what I was. But this is all the part of a learning curve for me. And as I did all the way through, as I did with the CX, when I was doing the thing with the van, with the lorries, as I learn, I'll pass it all on to you guys. I know nothing about shipping. Absolutely nothing. I've been here. I only know what I've gathered from being a courier and what I've gathered in the last 2 weeks. But I'll do it the hard way. And once I've sussed it out, I'll pass it on to you. Show you the things I want to do. I want to show you how to post a load, how to post a load on your phone, how to use the map thing. Things that ain't out there yet. All an opportunity for you guys to take care and take money.